Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Four Dads Podcast. You got myself, Teeds, and Don Julio, two hosts today. First off, again, thank you guys for all the support. Just want to shout that out. We reached over 250 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. The goal for sure is definitely 1,000. I think that's when we can actually start getting monetized, and then actually, which would obviously be awesome. That's the goal. You know, to get paid to golf, that would be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal, right? Pay to have fun, pay to do what you love. That's the ultimate goal. Julio and I were able to get together on Sunday and film some videos. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to jump into, I think it was this past weekend. Yeah, the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Julio, did you follow any of that at all? Did you watch anything? Were you watching nothing? Okay, that's totally fine. So last episode we mentioned and we talked about the Bryan brothers that were playing. George Bryan, there's a YouTube golf channel called the Bryan Bros. Both played at University of South Carolina. The older brother has a channel that obviously it's part of the Bryan Bros, but he's been following his the Q School, a journey, where he's trying to make each cut for the Q School, and they're recording the whole thing. And he's trying to make it to the PGA Tour with his brother Wesley, who's been on there for a few years now, maybe like 6-7 years minimum. And they were able to get him a sponsor's exemption onto the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, which was awesome. Both of the brothers made the cut. Obviously, his younger brother, who's been on the tour for a while, that was more expected. But he actually apparently, I was following it all weekend, and it annoyed the absolute crap out of me because they never talked about them. They never put them on. They never gave them any shots or anything, even after they made the cut, to put on these guys on the screen. Like, you have a tournament like the Butterfield Classic that you probably are just like, I don't care. Like, there's no big names in it. Like, what's the reason? You want fans to get engaged, and you're not going to put on a YouTube channel that has like over 250,000 subscribers. Both golf dads, they've been doing it. They're in part of the grind, and they're both playing, and one's on a sponsor exemption, and the sponsor actually makes the cut. How do you not put that center stage? Like, I'm sorry, Justin Rose. To the average golfer, you know who that is, but to anyone else, it's just like no idea who that is. But YouTube golf is becoming such a big thing as of recent, especially, that they totally missed out on a big opportunity. Because the crazy thing was Wesley apparently shot 2 over on the front on the first the first round. Man, I'm blanking. And George, the older brother, he shot under par every single round. I think like 3, 2, and then what did he end up with? He ended up with 6 under, so maybe 3-2 and even or something like that. 3-2 even and 1 under. And then the second round, Wesley shot like an 8 under, and then he ended up going 12 under on the round. And it was just insane. And I kept on tweeting about it, like, come on, PGA, show the Wesley bros. Like, if they didn't make the cut and you had no room for it, that's fine. But they made the cut. You have less people out there. You want to get some heads watching this tournament that not many people are, especially because the time change in Bermuda. It's a lot different. Didn't see anything. And I thought it was really cool because they made the cut. And I think, George ended up taking home about 13,000, and Wes took home about like 27,000. And the funny thing was, they interviewed Wes, and he goes, I don't even really care about the FedEx Cup points. I mean, it's just not a big deal to him. Obviously, he's doing well on YouTube, and I think he's made over like a couple $1 million for the PGA Tour. So he's doing fine. But
I mean, those guys are doing really well. I mean, they from all of their partnerships and everything. I mean, I think I heard something that they were building their own country club.
Golf course.
Yeah, their own golf course.
So they partnered up with that, and I've been watching some of those videos, excited to see it, but they haven't really been posting anything over the last few months. But yes, if you watch these videos of the course that they ended up becoming partners with because they couldn't afford, like they said, if we were to buy this whole course, we wouldn't have any money to put in the course. So they had to partner up with a few people. But this course, I've never seen a course this bad in my life. It looked atrocious. Like, how do people consider this a golf course? It just looks probably like Fig Garden would right now, with all high weeds, and just looks like no one's kept it in years. But yeah, so they're doing that, and they're trying to, in the end, bring tournaments there, bring YouTube tournaments, which should honestly be freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, so to your point about them like not giving them any recognition, I think we've seen kind of now like the true colors of the PGA. It's like if you're not putting in all of your dedication and effort to the PGA, they don't want to promote you because they get it. Like you're your own contracted, you know,
Mm-hmm.
business. You're your own LLC. So
Yeah.
if you're not going to put the effort to try and do things with the PGA to try and do all this stuff, they just don't want to. They just kind of blacklist you. And I don't know. I feel like that's just it's just starting to come. It's just starting to be apparent that that's just how the PGA is. Is what are you going to do to better us, right? Like we own
Yeah.
everything that you do,
Yeah.
even though you're contracted.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not putting in the time to benefit us, like we won't put the time to benefit you.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame, dude. Um.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they constantly say that they're about bettering the game, but it's just becoming apparent that it's just about the greed of the board and wanting them to make all this extra money and do all this extra stuff while you have players who are like, forget it, we're going to live, we're going to go get paid out, and then
Mm-hmm.
you want to put hate or throw hate towards these guys, but it's like it's true. Why would you? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, why would you not do something to adjust to make it better for more players? You
Yeah.
know?
100%. MLB has
Yeah.
kind of changed that with the minor leagues over the last few years. It before it was just such a risk to play more than a few years in the minor leagues if you weren't a top pick. Because if you didn't get that bonus money, there's no way you were going to survive. Or if you didn't have parents that could support you 100%, there's no way you can survive on that money. Like
Yeah.
it's unless you literally ride or died with it and you had like 3 or 4 teammates that you roomed with, like there's just no way you could afford it.
Well, that's like everybody
So
on the corn ferry, dude. I mean,
yeah,
the
it's
corn ferry,
hmm
you need to bunk with 4 or 5 people just to make it by.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I did see though. I think it was a few days ago. The PGA Tour plans to offer members an equity stake in the new for-profit entity being created, according to a memo delivered by players. Did you see anything about this?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about that. I'm very, very curious to kind of understand.
Right. No, same here. So here, let me repeat it, and then I'll say, and then so this was a tweet that I saw, and then Phil Mickelson commented on it, and I'll reply, and I'll read his comment as well. So it said the PGA Tour plans to offer its members an equity stake in the new for-profit entity being created, according to a memo delivered to players. ESPN reports that the development comes from following a board meeting yesterday, which directors, including Tiger Woods, attended in Ponte Vedra Beach. Now, Phil Mickelson responded with, "What an amazing change of philosophy in 2 years." In quotes, if it's not 100% owned and controlled by the PGA Tour, it will be viewed as hostile. End of quote. Ed Herlihy and Jay Monahan, October 30th, 2021. Thank you, Liv, PIF, His Excellency, and all the players willing to stand up to Jay's threats and I can't even read on disarray to force positive change. uh, disparagement. First time I heard that word. Phil is much more educated than I am, I guess. Ugh.
Interesting.
I wonder what the new entity is going to be. You don't think it's going to be the TGL, do you? All right, here's
I have
your
no
here's your
idea.
stock. Be happy,
I'm
peasants.
I'm just as curious.
Enjoy the
I'm
not for
wondering what that.
profit or for the for profit TGL. Hope it doesn't crash and burn. Otherwise, just here's your stock. Sorry, but you get what you get.
Yeah, you kind of froze there, but
Hmm.
I'm curious as to what this new entity is. I mean, I feel like Live is by the Saudis, right? I feel like the PGA is about to be owned by China. Think about it. I mean,
Interesting.
China already owns the NBA.
Technically, they own LeBron. Uh, very possible. But speaking of the TGL, did you hear that the roof of the TGL's SoFi Center had
I
collapsed
saw that. I saw that.
overnight,
There was
lead,
major damage.
leading to a significant disruption in the construction of the arena? A source says no one was hurt, but the start of the TGL is likely to be delayed. And there's like a photo, and this thing just looks like it's
I saw it. It
like
just
it
looks,
looks
yeah.
terrible. Oh my gosh, man! And I'm like, this is California, right? Or was this one in Vegas
No.
or Florida?
I think it's Florida.
Florida,
I think so.
man. TGL off to a great start. Woo woo.
Can't do anything about the weather, man. But I saw that. I just saw like the caved in like top of it. I was like, oh dang.
Oh
The whole thing
man.
fell over. Yeah, man. So that's all great and all. Good job, Phil. Way to stick to your guns. But
Right?
dude, I had a lot of fun this weekend. This weekend
I did
was
too.
that was a fun round. The videos you sent me were good. I mean, I can't wait to see some of the classic club throws and club sticks because it was a good time, but I was like, I'm not
You were
happy with
not
the way
play.
I'm
You were not
playing.
at your best. You were nowhere near your best. I know. But yes, I texted you. I'm like, you have great. You're great for content. Let me tell you, you are what the people want to see. Okay, they want to see blow up Julio. You know, because like I think you had maybe what 3 or 4 club throws,
I
like
think so.
maybe. And like they aren't just like a little gentle toss into the wind. They're like a throwing your
Or,
club down. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
or
But
like
yeah,
or like the one over on my 54 where I just stuck it in the ground.
oh my god. Yeah, a little buffer out. We'll be good there. Oh man. But
Dude,
dude,
the best that had me dying was like I was sitting there. What was that, number 9? I was sitting at number 9, like doing my dance. All of a sudden, chunk, and on the
okay.
tracer, and on the
Yep.
tracer, it looks
It
so much
sucked.
better.
It
But
does.
I
The
was
tracer
like,
sucked.
the ball would have really went like 5 feet in front of me.
Yeah. Dude, okay. The thing that sucks is on YouTube when I put up the video and everything, there was like is a copyright strike, not a strike, but a copyright issue with that because the video was so
No.
clear. So we had to mute that portion. You could hear it on our little short that I created. There was no issue there, but on the actual video, it had to stop for 15 seconds, which was so annoying because the funny thing was, it kind of went perfectly where I was literally like, because you're dancing, doing your thing. And I was like, have your fun. Just hit the shot. Okay. Just make sure you hit
Yeah.
the shot. We need to get the green, hit the shot. And then you're like, okay, focus, chunk. Okay. No more music. No more. You're done. You're done.
Oh
Oh, that
man.
was crazy though. So the video is live. We did a 2-man scramble. That one is live. Went live today at 8 a.m. And I'll put the link down below for everybody. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that, you'll have to go to our YouTube page, obviously, for Dad's Golf. But it's awesome. We got a cart cam, which was a lot of fun. We kind of forgot a few times when I was putting the videos together. I'm like, oh, we forgot a few of the holes to do it. But hey, we got a lot of content. I think about like at least 18, 19 minutes of quality stuff that wasn't just me setting up the camera or walking to my ball or anything like that. It was somewhat simple to put together, a lot more simple than I expected. And for the next video on the back 9, we did a match play. Giving
Yeah.
myself a 7 handicap, and Julio was a scratch. So I had a few holes that I had 1 stroke advantage.
Hold on. You only got 3 strokes on the back. You got 3. You played to a 7, but you only
That's what I
got
said.
3 strokes on the back.
No, I played as a 7 is what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's
I
what I
was gonna
meant.
say.
Yeah. No. No. So I did get a few, but that one was an entertaining one as well, and a little confusing to me. I think I get it. So you were telling me on the back 9 when we did the match play that the holes that I were to get strokes on,
Pops. Yeah.
that means that let me say it. The whole handicap had to be less than my handicap, correct? In order
Correct.
for me to get one. Okay, so that's a lot more simple than I guess I figured
Yeah.
it to be. Okay. Front 9
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, pause it right now and go watch it because I'm going to tell you what we shot. We ended up shooting a 3-under, which I thought was honestly really impressive for how inconsistent we both
we
were.
left a lot of good we left a lot of good shots out there, which was just unfortunate. I mean, the par five. I mean, dude, I can't believe that you hit like a 340-yard drive on number 3.
6? Oh no, it was not that far. Well, no, it was 507. It was 507. We were 200 yards out. No, not that one.
Okay. Well,
I still hit it well.
Yeah, I forgot, but still,
I know you're trying to pump me up. I appreciate it, but
I mean, we were there, but like the wind was kind of coming across. I took a 6-iron. Yeah, no, I took a 7, and I mean, I just don't understand how that ball stayed out to the right. I mean, I hit it on my line. If it would have turned, would have came down that slope and been just fine.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, we left a lot of shots out there. The first par 5, right in the middle of the fairway, 200 yards out, a good lie. I had a good contact on my shot. I just pull it, maybe about like 10 yards. Julio gets a horrible bounce on his shot. It literally hits the cart path and takes off by like 20 yards.
Yeah.
And then on the following par 5, again, set ourselves up great. We both have excellent drives. You like, honestly, great drives by both of us. Probably your best drive of the day. But that one, and I think 13 on the other par 5 are your two top drives with your driver, at least.
Yeah.
And we were like 200 yards out again. No, 185, 190. And I chunked the crap out of my shot. And you put us about like maybe 15 to 20 yards just short of the green. Maybe not that short, but to the hole about 15, 20 yards. And just two up. I think we birdied one and parred another, but we had so many opportunities that we just effed ourselves. And then the following short-ish par 4, you hooked your drive into the what was it? The first hole's fairway.
Yeah.
I hooked my drive into the hole one's fairway.
And then those guys picked it up right in front of us.
So we both hook our drives into the fairway adjacent to us on the left side. And there's like these two guys who are like, I'm playing like 4 balls. And I'm like, okay, well, like, which one's mine? I saw it. It wasn't like one of those shots where you lost it, like at least I saw where the ball was going to be around. And this guy just goes up and I'm like, I know there's no way. You're telling me you hit 4 shots. I'm like, either my shot's on the green, that shot on the green.
Yours had to have been the one on the green.
It had to have been.
Because I hit 2-iron off of that tee box.
You did.
And yeah, that you had to have been the one on the green because literally he just steps up and it was close and he putts it. But like they both hit. And then on the next hole, they both hit like 3 shots off the tee that then go right to the trees.
Two of them almost hit Julio, like who was just right of the hole, and I was like, "Oh my!" And I was laughing because, I in that situation, what do you do? Like, should I have just like looked at every ball and just been like, "Okay," and like still done it, but like, "F you, dude!" Like, I don't know you. You could easily lie to me. I'll be like, "Nah, this is actually my ball." Like, what are they going to do?
I think if you would have looked and saw 23, you would have been like, what number ball are you playing? And then you'd be like, okay, well, this is mine 23. So
right. And then I got a question. So if that were to be my ball on the green and we were to actually play that, we play it on the green, or we just move it off like adjacent left or right?
You'd have to, I mean,
imagine a chunk in the middle of the green from playing a different.
Like I think you have to play it. I think you would have to play it, but the thing is, though, is that you would need, like, if you decided to move it back, I think it'd be unplayable. So then you take it back in front of the green and then hit. But that's a good question. I don't know. Make that one one of the shorts or one of the clips for TikTok and ask.
All right, so I'll ask it again, so I might be able to get a clean clip of it. So if you're playing on a particular hole that's going north and south, you hit onto the adjacent green.
Just hold on.
Okay, Julio, say it.
If you hit a drive that ends up finding a green, right? Do you have to play it off of the putting green, or do you get free relief off of the putting green to not take a chunk out of the green?
There you have it. Good question. Yeah, because that would have been interesting. I mean, obviously it's us, and it's not like we're going against like crazy rules, and it was just an easy scramble. There were no tournament, anything like that. But that'd be interesting to see what actually would be needed to do in order to keep that legit. What would they say, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, like we had some solid putts, we had some good chips, some good wedge shots. You drained like what, like a 25, 28 yard, 28 foot
Yeah.
birdie putt, which was
Yeah.
freaking awesome. That was clutch.
And then I did my happy dance.
I mean, we had some great shots, and also we had some good saves. I feel like on that first hole, man, did we not give ourselves any chances. First shot of the scramble, and I hooked my ball into the woods, and I'm like, all right, well, it's the last time for that ball. And it was a Fore Dad's custom golf ball, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's so funny is you're like, well, I got 24 of these left, and I was like, well, now you're down to 3, and then your next one goes. Then your next one goes. I was like, oh man, that sucks. But no, that was good though.
And then second ball comes up, and I hook it
Yeah.
again, and I'm like, oh, but I found this one. Hallelujah! Oh man, that would have been terrible, but we saved that, and then saved the par 5. Didn't get lucky on the par 3. Par 4, you had a good pitch shot that you. I think we took my drive, your pitch, your putt, and then that that long par 3. You had a great shot into that par 3. Excellent shot.
Yeah.
You're probably at least like 9 to 10 feet, but it was just such a weird uphill, left to right break, such an awkward putt. And then
it just broke hard. Like I did not expect to see that much break on.
It did.
To be totally transparent, I did not expect to see that much break on like a Fresno course.
Oh yeah. I mean, for they have a decent amount of undulation on their greens. You know, for even like as not tight as they are, like there still is a decent amount of break.
But they were rolling. They were rolling too, which was I was shocked at that because even the ones that I hit, I mean, some of them I like powered on by, and then I almost broke your GoPro with my chip shot.
Dude, do you remember what was it? I think it was hole 10 on hole 11. I remember I putted, and like halfway through the putt, you're like, "Did you just chip that?" Because it was so freaking choppy. You remember that?
Bumpy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Well, that one took a huge bounce. That's why I said it. It was like it literally looked like it went off a half pipe or something, and just like, and then it just rolled. And I'm like, "What did you do? Chip that thing?" I was
right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Julio was the GOAT for driving 3 hours one way, and then going back home that same day. I don't know, with that energy. That's just insane. I mean, our tee time was at noon. Julio calls me like at 9:45. Hey, what's up? I just had breakfast. I had a cigar. I'm at the range. And I'm like, dude, we're not playing for like 2.5 hours. What are you doing there? Oh.
You're like, well, I woke up and I had to get ready. And, you know, I figured I'd rather be here early than right on time. So,
but tell him what you forgot, Julio. Tell him what you forgot.
So I was using my Mevo at the range because now over at the course that's by my house we have the top tracers, right? So I was like what? And they changed out the ball too, so now the ball is like a restricted flight ball. But I went over there just to go test out some different shafts that I had in my garage, and so I was using my Ventus and my Hulk Hazard shaft, and then I was using my Tour AD. Well, I forgot to switch out the hazardous shaft with the Ventus. The Ventus is like my go-to. And so I get out of the car and I'm like, oh man, I hit this one the worst. This is going to be a tough day. Like literally. But you know what was so funny was on the range, dude, I was hitting absolute missiles. Like I was aimed at the very last pin on the back on the hill. Even Corey was like, dude, you're annihilating the ball. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, this is weird. Like I was not hitting this, like I was not hitting like this the other day. And he goes, what do you mean? He's like, that shaft looks cool. And I was like, it's cool. But I mean, I was like, feel this thing. It's literally like a rear bar. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
And so then again, I hit like 10 drives that were perfect 2-yard cut, perfect little like 5-yard draw. And I'm like, finally Fabian, Fabian shows up and I was like, I hit one in front of him and he goes, dude, that was blasted. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to hit anymore. I'm going to end on that one. And then all of a sudden we get to the tee box, and I pull it out. I hit like the biggest cut in the world. I mean, I was like, what is going on?
Dude,
Could not figure it out.
that was how I was on the range compared to my first drive. On the range, I literally just was like, wow, my first swing. Wow. Because I do it a little bit different with my wrist still being a little like baby wrists, basically, with weak or whatever it is, whatever the issue I have. Like, I figured, hey, if I'm hitting into the ground in the beginning on my warm-ups and my wrists aren't really warm, maybe give my wrist a break by warming up by hitting not off of the ground and using a tee, so it's not having that what do you call it, that force,
Strain.
or
Oh
strain
yeah.
on the hand. So basically, yeah. So I'm on the drives, and I'm just like, oh, right down the middle, right down the middle, right, like 7 or 8 in a row. I'm just like, this thing's got to stop. Like, there's no way I'm just gonna keep like lacing. And I'm like, okay, well, I know usually the last few times that I play with Julio, I've had like my best days. Okay, so maybe I'm just like in that mental state. Okay, here we go. Get up to the first tee, hook my duck hook my drive into the freaking woods, and I'm like, okay, well, thankfully this is a scramble. Okay, because that would have been bad. I'm not going for that ball.
Well, dude, I mean, you were hitting the piss out of your drives. Like, I mean, compared to the last time when we did the TrackMan monitor, like you were annihilating the ball, and then on top of that, you were hitting cuts, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, that's
Like,
the new swing I've been working on over the last few months because
it looked good. It looked
and
good.
so I think I mentioned, I don't know, no, I might have mentioned this to Brandon, not you, but I appreciate that. Thank you for the comment. Um, on this swing, I worked on. So I've been watching a lot of the Busted Jack over the last few months, and watching Mad Jack in his swing, just very smooth. He starts up top, and then he gets his arm through and goes more low. And so I was like, let me just try that on my 3-wood. I struggle with hitting my 3-wood. Let's just mess around. Nothing's working, so let's try anything. Well, it was working. Boom, I was making good contact. So I did that for a few weeks, literally just only the 3-wood to swing that way. Then I was like, let's try it on the driver, long club. Let's see what happens. Even though I'm hitting my driver fine. Let's try it. Working with the driver. Okay, cool. Do that for a few weeks, only for that. And then iron swing, still my same, whatever the swing was at the time. And then a few weeks later, I'm like, let's just mess around. Let's just try another pitching wedge. Wow, I'm getting the height that I want on the ball. I'm like the 90 feet, 100 feet, for like a pitching wedge or what you want on all your irons. And I'm like, oh, okay, like this is working. So I slowly, gradually work that into all of my irons. And that's the swing that I go with now. And because my struggle has always been with my T100s is getting height on the ball. I would always hit it too low. It wouldn't get any spin. And obviously the Mevo does help with that as well, giving you the data and stuff that you want for it. But it's been working, and I'm like, dude, okay. It's very inconsistent because sometimes I won't get down enough in time, as you saw, where I would leave the club face open a little bit. But when I stripe it. Like it
Yeah.
just sounds good.
Yeah.
It goes
I mean,
well, and
you were making solid contact with the ball all day. I mean, irons wise, I mean, I think we both had some pretty crappy wedge shots, but um, irons and driver, I mean, I was like, dang, who is this guy? I'm hitting the ball good.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, so yeah. I don't know when the match play video is going to drop. I'm hopefully going to have it completed by tomorrow before I leave out of town, but it still has to be uploaded. And where I'm going does not have great internet. So I don't know when it'll be actually able to go up. Hopefully this weekend, that'd be cool. This podcast is going to come out on Thursday morning. And by that time, hopefully it'll be out within the next few days. But I had a blast with the scramble. And with our scramble and how we shot a 3 under from blues, which is a decent distance if you look at the holes, 400
Yeah.
so yards to start, 500 for the par 5. I think the shortest hole we had was 135 par 3. Then it went to like a 330 par 4, basically a 200-yard par 3, 530-yard par 5, 400-yard par 4, 360, 400-yard par 4. So we played decent distances, and we shot 3 under. And I compare myself to anybody. I'll compare myself to all these YouTubers watching Bob Does Sports, and I'm like, 2 men, 3 under. Imagine if we would have actually used Corey, if we would have actually used Fabian on some putts or shots. Like having someone with an extra putter. Corey had a great putter going all day. He was really good, and he hit some good shots in general.
Yeah,
But
for him not playing as long as he hasn't, like, I can't, like, I can't stress to you and Fabian enough, like,
yeah, I was
dude,
very, very impressed.
Corey is an absolute menace on the golf course. I mean, when I first met Corey Corey just had such a finesse with his wedges. But dude, you
Mm-hmm.
put that putter in his hand, he couldn't miss. I remember he was playing this yes putter, and like, obviously, like he said, he's like, "What's it like working with a guy who has a new putter in his bag every single time?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I do mess around a lot, but he had this yes putter, dude, and every time he took it out, I was just like, it's going in. Like, I don't even know what
He
I was
had
waiting
some
for."
really good putts that were so close, like 20, 30-foot putts that were so close. Either like what was it? There's one that was
Well,
like a
that one,
25,
what was
30
it? It
foot
was on the
putt that
par.
literally was
It was on the
half
par
a ball
five.
roll from going in. Like he
Yeah.
had some good putts.
Well, that the par five shot that they had that was in front of the green where you and I were on the backside, right? Dude, that was like an 80-foot putt from down below, and Corey literally left it dead center of the hole with one
Mm-hmm.
rotation, dead center. And I
Insane,
was like,
insane.
80 feet,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah. And I
crazy.
mean, I felt bad when he was like, "Hey, let's all do a scramble," and I'm like, in my head, yeah, I'm okay with that, but like we need to get some content of us playing together with just us.
Yeah,
If he was part of the group, the original four dads, like, dude, yes. Obviously, we can add people, I guess, but like the whole thing was just the premises was the podcast to get that going. I'm like, hey, let's get some golf content.
I mean, what we
And
could have done. I mean, what we could have done was, I mean, I had the tripod in my, in my bag. Like, we could have had Fabian hold it for, whatever. They could have taken one piece. I mean, I had extra flash drives or whatever the freak they're called, the
memory
memory
card.
cards. Yeah, I had extra ones in my, in my bag. I mean, we could have, we could have just swapped it out. But again, this is what I'm saying. Like, we should do like and again, I don't care if you can't come to me. Like, if it's bi-weekly, like,
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be like, yeah, go do your thing, like, whatever. Like, I get it, for you it's a little bit tougher, and that's okay. But I'm just saying, like, I have no problem going down over there. And again, like, if we were even to meet, like, in
I was looking it
Gilroy,
up.
or
I was looking
yeah,
it up. Like, no, I was looking it up like closer to you. Merced is closer. you know it's not crazy closer, but it's at least like 45 minutes an hour. That I know that
it
helps.
just turns my drive into what, 2 hours and 45 minutes compared to 3 hours and 30 minutes to get down to where
Yeah,
you guys are at.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, the
um
toughest thing about getting home was me and Corey we went to Poppy's, right?
mhm.
Taqueria. And bro, like, even he said it, like, I don't know what it was, but like, in the car, my stomach was like, ooh, what's going on? So then, like, I mean, that was the only tough part about it, was just trying to stay up after having such a heavy meal.
Oh man,
That
I
was,
bet.
yeah. I mean, but
uh
it was great though. I will say it was good food. I definitely didn't have any more drinks, but yeah, I was.
I'll recommend, if you ever go back to Poppy's, the surf and turf burrito is what I always
I
get.
saw that. I saw that. I thought
So
about that,
good.
or the fajitas burrito.
Yeah, can't
That's
go
what I was
wrong.
thinking. But I was like, I saw this guy who was sitting like directly across, and I asked the waitress. I was like, "Hey, what did he get?" She was like, "Oh, those are the chicken enchiladas for the day." And I was like, let me get three of those with like the beans and rice on the side. She's like, "Yeah, for sure."
Yeah, but it's also
Yeah,
crazy that Corey ends up living in the same community that I'm in, so small world.
literally. I mean, you guys are right down the street from each other, which is legit. I know the whole time he was like, "Dude, this house is being built right here." He's like, 500K, 500K right here. He's like, look at this backyard. Look at this backyard. He's like, you're going to have the same type of backyard that I will. And he's like, and we'll be direct neighbors. And I literally was like, I love you, but like, couldn't deal with all the positivity every single day from you. Like, next door.
Let me be negative, bro. Leave me alone. Gosh.
Yeah. Let
Ah.
me have my day of negativity, please. No, but I think, but again, like I said, I'm totally down. And if we can pull like the Monterey, the Monterey thing to where Stephanie and Carter come, like that's fine too, because I know Isis, loves
That
it.
would work. Yeah.
So again, like if we could do this bi-weekly, I, I mean, I'm all for it. Like I
Let's
don't,
plan it.
I
Yeah.
honestly don't care.
You're
And
the
if we
man.
can
You're
just
the.
keep playing, if we can just keep playing Dragonfly or even Riverside or
Mhm.
I don't know, I'll make some calls myself and just be like, hey, CEO of Four Dads podcast, like we want to come review your course at Copper River and the pretentiousness you guys have at the course.
We got a drone. Can we fly it?
Yeah,
Because you guys don't have flyovers. And that's the thing.
yeah,
That would be huge if you were to come out, because I'm in the process of hopefully getting another drone because I effed up and didn't get the right one and it sucks and I'm trying to sell it. So pray for me that it's able to work. But it's so hard to do. Like if I were to go by myself at any of these courses that are really nice by myself, it's so hard to do stuff besides just playing and setting up my little tripod for my shots. If I have to do that with the drone, dude, there's no way I can do it while driving a freaking golf cart. Impossible. You
well, but
need at
see,
least
this is
another
why I
man.
was telling you. If you get the DJ one, like the DJ Mav 4 or 3 or whatever it is,
The
like
three, yeah, the mini three, yeah.
yeah, all you have to do is just set the remote in the center of your golf cart. Wherever
It'll
you're at,
follow.
it'll follow you. It just follows
Right.
the thing. The only thing
Right.
that sucks though is that your phone's going to die super fast because you have to connect your phone
Well,
to
that's the
it.
thing. I feel like the main thing you just got to do is just get a quick little flyover within like a minute and a half, or however long it takes. Yeah. Slow it down. Yeah.
The group ahead of you, move ahead of you. Guy hits a
Oh,
massive
my-
high pitching wedge.
yeah, right. X Files. What is that? Oh my gosh. But yeah, dude, that'd be freaking sick. But yeah, we definitely need to talk about that off camera. But yeah, I feel like it's a good spot to wrap up the podcast for tonight.
Yeah.
We're able to talk about the Bryan Bros. Again, I think it's the first time that any YouTuber has ever made a PGA Tour event that's like he legitimately became a YouTuber first before, doing professional golf. He played golf his whole life. Apparently his dad was a pro, and things like that. So he's had golf in his blood his whole life, but he never made it. So I thought that was really cool to talk about. And the RSM Classic's coming up in South Carolina. Again, our guy who I've been talking to and I told you about, I'm not going to say a name yet, about getting on our podcast. He didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But I was pulling for him. I was also trying to watch to see if I could see any footage of him playing. But since he didn't make the cut, he wasn't able to really get on the camera like the Bryan Bros, unfortunately. But I'm rooting for him. He's at the R7 Classic this week. Definitely rooting for him. And again, if you guys haven't checked us out on YouTube, check us out on Fore Dads Golf at X4 Dads Golf, as well as TikTok, obviously Instagram. I'm starting to post a little bit more of our clips that we had. We got a lot of content over the 18 holes, which is awesome. And the cart cam is honestly really entertaining. I've already had a few people talk to me about the
Country music.
the country music, little back and forth between Julio and I. Everyone's got their own thing, but it's really entertaining, just to have that part of it. That's obviously not part of my my videos by myself, that I do without Julio. But we had a great time, and I'm really hoping to keep this going. And again, Julio is the MVP for being able to drive out and everything like that. He has been awesome, and we will keep it going. And don't forget to stay fly and go low. And we will see you next week. Take care.
See you later, guys.